Welcome to the Gameweek 2 episode of Stick to FPL, the premier fantasy league podcast.
Coming up on today's show,
We're going to talk about all the impressive performances from Gameweek 1.
which players should you be selling already?
Who should we replace Quanza with in our teams?
We're going to have a look at our differentials of the week.
We're going to talk about triple captaining that robot Erling Haaland.
And of course, we're going to be having a look at our teams for Game Week 2 as well.
Make sure you like, subscribe, follow, 5-star review, listen. What other things can people do?
I think if they're listening, that's a good start. Guys, let's get going.
Dan, I'm genuinely sick and tired of this hub AI stuff. How on earth have they got away with getting 90 points for Game Week 1? No Haaland. Everyone was like, that's crazy. This AI is like trying to pretend it's smarter than us, but it clearly isn't. And we're sat here 30 points worse off.
Yeah. That hub AI, it genuinely knows what it's doing. It's actually crazy, but it's all based on stats and it's all provided on their website. So it's definitely the tool to go for. So I suppose, everyone, make sure you check out Fantasy Football Hub, the sponsors of this podcast. Thank you so much to Hub for supporting us as we go through this podcasting journey for the year. And we've got loads to speak about around FPL with Game Week 1 now concluded. Let's move into Game Week 2, Sim. Let's do it. So, first of all, how are you, mate? How's the game week so far? Well,
The game week is pretty good.
Yeah.
I feel like I've had a good, solid, middling, average start to the season.
Okay.
It's somewhere I'm happy to start. I feel like if you fly too high in the first game week, it's just a red arrow after red arrow.
You burn too brightly and then you come crashing down.
Versus if you start off like super low, you're like, oh my god, I'm 8 million rank. So I'm feeling good about where I've started. We're not really gonna talk rank at this stage. I think it's
It's a bit early.
Yeah, it's a bit pointless talking about rank until even game week 7, 8, but we'll see how things play out. But no, I think the game week has started pretty good. I'm feeling good about this season.
Yeah, man. I think we're both around 60 points, aren't we? For just above 60 points for the first game week, which I think if you didn't have Salah, game week 1 was always going to be a little bit tough because we all knew Salah was the best captain for game week 1.
Yeah.
But hopefully in game week 2, if you have Haaland, like we do, maybe next week will be a bit better.
I got some crazy stuff to tell you about my game week 2 stuff, but we'll
Have
talk
you?
about that later.
Okay. All right, cool.
I have to say, there were people in the comments who were, giving it the whole, I've got Salah and Isak, but I'm still going to captain Isak. I don't know why. I don't know why you think that's a bad idea.
We said last episode, if you're going to own Salah, captain him. Come on, just do it. Hopefully a few people listen.
you do not bet against Mo game week 1 against the promoted team.
No.
So, I think game week 1 went very predictable, I would say.
Fairly predictable, yeah.
I did a video on TikTok, just running through predictions for game week 1. I think I got about 4 scores, like exactly right.
Oh, wow.
And about 8 results.
Yeah.
So the only thing that surprised me was the number of clean sheets.
Yeah, there was a few. And it was kind of all from teams you would expect to keep a clean sheet in a way.
Which made
Liverpool, Man City. Yeah. I think the one result that shocked me was the Crystal Palace versus Brentford game, or Brentford versus Crystal Palace game. And I had 3 Crystal Palace players in that game. So let me talk you through this. So I have Eberechi Eze, and then I have double Crystal Palace defense. Henderson in goal and Munoz in defense. So there was 30 seconds in that game. Eberechi Eze scores this free kick, this wonder free kick. I was like, yes, my guy, Eberechi Eze, has got the goal. Amazing. The goal is disallowed for a clear refereeing error, him blowing the whistle as the ball hit the post for a foul that wasn't a foul. Just one of those things. But within 30 seconds, Brentford have taken the ball the other end and scored. So I lost my Eze goal, and then I lost my double clean sheet in 30 seconds.
That genuinely brought me joy.
What, knowing that I would be on the receiving end of that?
No. It wasn't personal. I didn't even know. To be fair, I don't remember what because you changed your team and I changed my team slightly as well.
A little bit.
Yeah. But all I knew was I saw Eze goal. My hand went into my head. I looked
because
back
you don't
up.
have him.
Yeah. I looked back up and I was like, oh, here we go. And they scored. I had Munoz, so I was a little bit disappointed. But at the end of the day, I think Palace got a little bit done for that game. They shouldn't have lost that game.
Maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
It was a rough one, wasn't it?
And they weren't as good as I would have thought, though.
I thought that Crystal Palace really good in the first half.
Yeah.
Second half, maybe not so much. I think after the goal went in, the game changed a lot, and Brentford really started to look decent. I thought they were quite poor first half, actually, for a lot of it anyway.
One player that I'm really intrigued by on top of Munoz is Mitchell. I really like those wing-back system. Yeah.
The problem is he was getting a lot of good opportunities to score, but I'm not sure if he's clinical in the same way. I don't know if he's a natural goal scorer as much as maybe Munoz on the other side of the pitch. But yeah, positioning, chances that he was getting really, really good.
But he's 4.5, right?
He's 5 million, so he's the same as Munoz anyway. So it's like, who do you go for? I think you back.
Yeah, I think back Munoz.
I think you back Daniel.
Yeah.
Gotta back your Daniels.
You know how it is. We love a Daniel up in here.
That's exactly it. Right. First of all, what I want to do is I want to have a look at our differentials of the week, last week, where we both... there was a couple of stinkers here.
You all laughed at me. You all said my pick was ridiculously dumb. And here we are. Stats versus eye test. You pick them apart. They both suck.
They both ended up going the same. So, guys, if this is your first time watching the Stick to FPL podcast, we're running a thing each week where me and Sim each pick a differential of the week. And we're going to try and compete throughout the season of who can get the most points. Now, you went for Trossard. And I warned you in that podcast, Trossard's not going to start. And you said, I don't care, Dan, I'm doing it anyway. Do you regret your decision at all?
I do not regret it in the slightest.
Why? Because Murphy also got 1 point.
Because, first of all, who got more minutes?
Oh, okay.
Who's a minutes risk? Murphy, who got hooked because I tactically predicted that Cher was going to get a red card, and that forces the manager to take off Murphy. Listen, I got the foresight, baby.
I can't believe it.
I got the
I couldn't believe it.
I got away with murder with that one.
Yeah, Fabian Cher gets a red card and Murphy is the sacrificial lamb to make way for a new defender to come on. It's so unlucky. I mean, this is kind of what FPL is all about. The Crystal Palace moment and the Murphy moment. It sucks, but you can't have the highs without the lows. You cannot. Anyway, we got to move on to our stalemate of last week, which went tragically for both of us, and hopefully we can pick up a few more points this week.
Oh, before we do move on, we ran a quiz. We ran a competition. Last game week.
No one got.
We almost got burnt so hard because we didn't think.
We didn't think about the clean sheets.
We didn't think about the clean sheets.
Yeah, people were the competition we ran is like predict a player under 5% owned who will score more than 4 points, and you have to predict the player and exactly how many points they'll score as long as it's above 4 points. And what people very quickly realised is, let's just pick a differential defender. They'll score 6 points.
From a top 6 team.
Yeah.
Who's going to keep a clean sheet, right? I don't know how we didn't get done. Quanza should have kept a clean sheet. But here we are. I don't think I kind of went through the list as well. I don't think I found anyone.
I didn't find anyone who got the answers right.
But if you did get a pick and you had the right number of points,
just let us know.
Yeah, don't DM Dan because too many DMs. He ain't gonna read it. Send me a DM and follow me on the way.
Yeah, there you
go. And let us know and we'll sort you out. But I'm pretty sure there wasn't.
Yeah, we'll have to run some more competitions. But I think we need to think that one through before going back on that one because that was dangerous.
Bit of brain power.
Very dangerous. Right, Sim, who have you got differential of the week for us this week?
I've got a juicy one. I have a juicy one. I've gone for the man that's been hyped up by Guardiola himself, so we definitely now know that he's a minutes risk.
Okay.
Just a lying. Where's my belt? No.
You haven't got your belt today.
So he's interesting. I think.
Who is he? Audio listeners don't know who he is still.
I said Rico Lewis.
Did you?
Okay, well now I've said Rico Lewis. Rico Lewis is my differential, 0.6% owned. Ipswich at home, had a goal ruled out in game week 1. Really, really interesting positions that he was taking up, and Pep was extremely complimentary about him. I think he resolves a huge tactical problem for them in bringing the ball forward as well. He's a brilliant pick, and when you think of exciting differential, you don't tend to go for a 4.5 million defender.
No.
But up against Ipswich, I think it's very interesting.
Definitely. I mean, he was inverted. You know, usually when a fullback inverts into midfield, they kind of take up the like defensive midfield position. But he was like inverting into a 10. Like, what?
No, Stones was doing that last season. I absolutely love. Not last season. Was it the season before?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, I remember Stones inverting into like a 10 roll.
He was like stepping up into midfield, but he was going past Rodri, and
Yeah.
like meeting De Bruyne. It was like, get back, bro. You're a central defender. But no, it's the same with Lewis, and like I really love his positioning, and he's someone that I'm definitely considering for a transfer as well.
Yeah? Are you worried about his like longevity? Like if Walker comes back into the fray and maybe it's Guardiola pushing up a little bit forward.
Of course, I think at the moment we're at a place where Pep is playing a left winger, which means for now, from a tactical standpoint, Guardiola isn't going to be as marauding as we expected him to do. He's got Akanji and Diaz as the other two centre backs.
Yep.
Neither of them are that good at stepping into midfield. Akanji's decent, but like if it's not Stones, I don't think Akanji and Diaz are going to do it as successfully.
Agreed.
And then if he plays Walker, they kind of struggle in midfield. So
yeah, it depends who's playing on the wings though, because if Foden is kind of playing as a winger and kind of inverting, you need that overlapping fullback, which is not what Rico Lewis is.
This is what I'm saying. If Foden is playing left wing, then it's a problem. But if Foden is either playing right wing or centrally, which I think is slightly more likely, and even when he came on, he played right wing last game. I think there's a good chance that Rico Lewis plays.
Yeah,
I
think he plays
in the meantime.
Yeah, I think I'm talking about longevity here, but at the end of the day, we're talking differential of the week, and I think for this game week certainly, or if you're planning on wildcarding soon anyway, I think Rico Lewis well worth going for. So unlike last week where you picked Trossard and that was the most toilet pick I've ever seen in my life. I like this one. Yeah. Well done, mate.
I got a glimpse of your one. I like yours more already.
You do? You like... no. Okay, well, let's talk about...
I'm going to... Go on, do your thing.
Do mine. Okay. So my differential of the week is going to be, to use the Japanese pronunciation, Kaoru Mitoma. Kaoru Mitoma. Yes, obviously, historically, he's been a player we've liked in FPL. A couple of seasons back when he broke through, brilliant. Everyone wanted him in their fantasy team. And I think last year... disappointing season for him. Disappointing season for Brighton. Some injuries there, which really did hamper him a little bit. But looking through game week 1, watching the games, he was possibly the player who impressed me the most of all of the players. And I know you've brought the vibes with Rico Lewis, but I'm about to bring the stats with Kaoru Mitoma, and they are phenomenal. In fact, he registered the best underlying stats of any player in game week 1, in my opinion. So.
Wait, is this your opinion or is this the stats?
Well, I mean, it depends which stats you favour. If you're looking for tackles, then maybe he wasn't number one. But yeah, certainly from an attacking perspective. So 4 shots in the box, 2 big chances, 1.12 XG in a single game. Very nice. Not too much on the creative front, but I think he was far more direct. And no player. Well, there's a few other players that managed similar. Big chances and shots, but no one had better XG in game week 1. Thomas Soucek actually second best XG.
He had that huge chance.
His 0.99 XG chance that he missed. Third place. Any guesses who the third place might have been?
I actually know that.
Do you?
I made a video on best performing players based on stats.
Go on then.
Sorry. Encroaching on your space.
Yeah.
So it was Mitoma, it was Soucek, and I want to say it was Diogo Jota.
No, Diogo Jota fourth.
Oof.
Fourth. He had 2 really big chances as well there in that game.
It's a relatively
You've got the kit colour right, but you've not got the team right.
Yeah, it wasn't Salah.
No.
God, I should know this.
Maybe. I can give you another clue. He's a bit of a Magnifico, you might describe him as a Magnifico.
Marvelous Nakamba.
No, and Magnifico, not a marvelous. He's not a marvel, he's a Magnifico. A Portuguese Magnifico? Does that help at all?
Bruno Fernandes.
Yes, correct. 1.03 XG during that game. He took 6 shots during that game, which I think is only bettered by Eberechi Eze's 7 shots.
Why is he Magnifico?
Portuguese Magnifico. That's what he's called.
Bruno Fernandes is called the Portuguese Magnifico?
I think so, yeah.
Well, that's news
so
to
I've
me.
heard. So I've
That's
heard.
news to me.
But anyway, yeah, we've gone for Callum Mitoma. Amazing stats. I thought he looked brilliant. I know he's got that fixture against Manchester United, but it's a home one. I was really impressed by Brighton, and I just kind of identify a player with that really high upside. I don't think Manchester United will keep a clean sheet this game. I think they'll keep a few more clean sheets this season than perhaps they did last. But I think Brighton, the way they started, Mitoma, the way he started, home game, yeah, having looked at that first game, I think he's the guy to look out for at the moment. So he's mine. So
I don't hate it. I think
Yeah.
it's pretty good. But yeah, mine's better.
yours is better.
Mine's better.
Well, I guess we'll let people in the comment section decide who.
They're just gonna back you, man. Listen, I feel like they've lost trust in me now because of my Trossard pick.
You've got to make up for it. You've got to pull people back.
I'm gonna earn my trust.
Yeah, man.
I'm gonna earn my trust. So we'll see how it goes. And I bet if Beethoven's gonna blank and he's gonna keep a clean sheet, it's gonna be the most dull 6-pointer versus 2-pointer.
If you just choose a 6-pointer, like such a cop out, just pick a lower in Man City. You did what we criticised people from doing in the comment section last week. You little scumbag, little cheat.
I'm here to win, baby. I'm here to win.
But if Mitoma gets anything in that game, you're screwed.
I am.
In my opinion. I'll say no. I can see Rico Lewis picking up bonus. I can see him getting attacking returns. To be fair, so I like it. But I do like mine better, obviously.
Of course.
Let's move on because there's a few big topics of the week beyond differentials. Actually, first of all, is there any other players who impressed you? Game week 1.
A lot of players impressed me actually. So top of the list, I would actually put Kudus.
Yeah,
I thought West Ham were very impressive,
they were.
and I thought Kudus was very impressive.
Quite an open game against Aston Villa, wasn't it?
It was, and West Ham should have got more out of that game. It was unfortunate. Like they were the better team in my opinion. Kudus was brilliant. The fixtures just aren't there at the moment.
They're not.
Burma and Vissa's connection really impressed
Really
me.
nice.
I thought that was brilliant.
But
Like,
again, the fixtures aren't there for Brentford either.
that's the thing. It was
tough.
it was like a game week 1 pick, and even that game week 1 was a tricky fixture on paper, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, that was very interesting. Man City surprisingly surprised me
What, in a good way or a bad way?
in a good way.
Okay.
I thought they looked a lot better than I expected them to be. The only times they looked like they were going to concede was when they were when Chelsea were trying to win penalties, which was a good sign.
That's what they do best, Chelsea, winning penalties.
Yeah, I'm like
The whole game plan.
This season they've had their entire team mechanics ruined.
They just went last season. We got so many penalties that worked. Let's try and get even more this season. This is the way to win the league. Just win more penalties.
But no, I thought they played really well. I thought they played to Haaland really well. They were a lot more direct than I've seen them before. Like it's going to take a minute to work out what Pep's sort of ideas are at this point because there's not all the players back in the team.
Yeah.
But I really like how they started the game. Liverpool in that second half were absolutely disgusting filth. And I say that with like that was beautiful football.
Yeah, they
that were
turned it
playing.
on. They turned it on.
Absolutely turned it on. But it was Ipswich, so I don't know how much to take away from that. As you can tell, I'm a Liverpool hater. just joking. I think that's who impressed me the most in terms of teams and players. How about you?
I don't know who impressed me like the. I think Brian and Burma again. Yeah, really impressed me. I think he's going to be a really nice FPL asset at some point. I certainly think that Arsenal defense once again proving that they are just super reliable, super strong. I mean, Wolves barely had a sniff in that game. It was the same old classic Arsenal great defense. So yeah, I think we can take some confidence from that one for sure. And yeah, other than that, I pretty much echo what you were saying about various teams. I would like to see a little bit more from a lot of the teams to really, one game week, not enough data for me. For the stats nerds, not quite enough. But yeah, certainly a lot of players and a lot of teams have shown a lot of promise in game week 1. But there are lots of people, lots of players who have not shown promise. Sim. A lot of players who people are looking to sell. So I thought what we would do is we bring up a list of the most sold players. And I've included a few players. You guys who are watching on video, you'll be able to see everything on screen. We will go through them in audio. But I've got the most sold players, and I've included a few bonus players being sold at the bottom of our list as well. So at time of recording, the most sold player in FPL is actually Ollie Watkins.
Is Watkins' percentage ownership 34%?
Well, yes, and it's dropping.
2 weeks ago, that was 54.
Yeah. So he was being sold before the season had even started. The season now has started, and he's being sold even more. Not a great start for him in the Premier League. In his defence, he's come back late.
First game back.
Not too many days, only a couple of days of training.
Yeah.
You have to manage your expectations a little bit. I think I hate to say I told you so. But he probably wasn't the player to go for in game week 1. And I think he gets better from here, not worse. So if you have gone for him, I wonder if it is just worth riding it out. Let him have another week of training and see if he can do well against Arsenal, who are a pretty strong defence.
Not like Villa done a double over them last
Well,
season.
they did. I don't like to talk about it or think about it, but they did.
Cost you the title.
But no, I definitely understand why people would sell him given the a disappointing performance game week 1, and now he's got to face Arsenal. On paper, it's not the ideal situation for him. If you had Watkins, what would you be doing?
I don't hate the sell.
Yeah,
I don't hate it. I think clearly it's probably not the right time to have him.
It's not the right time to have him.
You could, if you keep now, you probably got to keep for a long time.
But from game week 3, Villa's fixtures look so good. So I think, can you just ride this one out?
No, but this is what I'm saying. What if you ride out a £9 million striker that's not working out for you? So you're gonna keep him for the Arsenal blank.
Yeah,
if he blanks,
assuming he blanks, which he might not. Then you've got Leicester after that. You've got Everton at home. By the way, Everton really disappointing game week 1.
Very disappointing, but expected.
Yeah, well maybe. Wolves game week 5. So the next few game weeks after Arsenal do look quite good for Watkins.
I don't know.
You think he's just too expensive to hold on to during this period of uncertainty? But who do you sell him to?
There's so many good options to buy though.
What, Isak,
Kai Havertz, João Pedro.
Kai Havertz.
Like,
yeah, look good.
There's so many players that are like performing
so far
in one game.
It's one game, but one game week.
But there's just so much more excitement to have.
Yeah,
I don't know.
If you're a Watkins owner, you're going to have probably a pretty dull game week 2,
and you might also not have Haaland.
Quite possibly.
Yeah,
quite possibly.
So it's scary hours.
Yeah,
I think I would sell because I'm a very proactive manager.
Yeah.
More settled heads would say just firm whatever happens in game week 2.
That's what I think.
And go for it. But it's game week 2. Like I would just do it.
Fair enough. Get ahead of the crowd maybe a little bit. But then you get ahead of the crowd by keeping him. Anyway, let's move on to the next few players. I mean, we can rush through these pretty quickly. Rodri is the second most sold player. He's injured. So, yeah, a sensible idea to sell him. Tony, I mean, who knows what's going on with him? Is he going? Is he staying?
He's like having meetings with Saudi and stuff.
Yeah.
It's such a bad decision to go to Saudi to be Tony. Like, why would you do that? Wait, isn't he like 28, 29?
Yeah, 28, I think. Yeah, it's certainly got a few more years left in him at the Premier League level, I would say. But hey, if he wants to chase the bag, why the devil not?
Do your thinking.
Exactly. But yeah, again, if we do get some news he's leaving the Premier League, then obviously he's going to be a great contender of a player to sell if you own him.
I mean, now regardless, you have to sell.
Trippier, not sure if is he in the plans for the next few game weeks? Is Livramento going to be that guy at right back?
I don't want to wait around to find out.
I agree with you. Again, I agree with you. These are the kind of players that I'm like, again, I wouldn't pick any of these players for game week 1 because they do have so much uncertainty. The likes of Tony and Trippier, even Rodri, we kind of knew that he's probably, best case scenario, he was going to be phased back into the Man City team.
Well, I'm sorry,
but it's got worse.
Rodri, not only was he not fit, but Pep said he's not going to start. So,
yeah. Yeah. But hey, that's what we're here for as a podcast, to make people aware of these situations so they don't make that mistake next time.
We're not here to just make people feel bad about their decisions?
No, we're not. So can we actually... in fact, yes, we probably need to stop doing that. Pickford's an interesting one. It was rough.
So I had Pickford and Mikalenko. I had Pickford or Mikalenko in a lot of my drafts running up to deadline, up until the Branthwaite and a couple of other injuries were announced.
Mm-hmm.
I was like,
Garner's was injured, of course, as well.
Yeah, and I was like, yeah, none of that. I'm not having any of that.
Okay.
And in fairness to them, they started really well against Brighton. They just kind of capitulated a little bit. They had a few pretty good chances in the first half.
What are your thoughts on goalkeeper transfers generally?
Yeah, you made your bed. I think there's better places to put your transfers right now.
Yeah, and I honestly, I don't. It's one game week. I don't think there's anything to suggest that Pickford is going to be a horrible asset to own.
It's Pickford. Like, remember last season, first 10 game weeks did nothing.
Yeah.
And he finished top of the
Yeah.
So it's Pickford. Like, he's there. Like, you've made your bed. Just lie there.
And it could be a lovely bed, you know.
You never know. It could just be a one game week thing, right?
Yeah, it could be one of those 4-poster beds. You know, the really fancy, posh beds. That's the bed that they may have made for themselves by going for Pickford, one of those really posh beds.
And they're just not aware.
No. Like, you're saying, oh, they've made their bed by going for Pickford.
Yes.
But you're saying it's like they've made themselves a bad bed. But it could be a really nice bed.
But
You
they
don't know
don't-
until game week 2.
But from the point where you're looking at it right now, the bed feels very uncomfortable.
It is
There's stones. You're like, there's a pea underneath the bed.
Okay.
It's a very uncomfortable
But
bed.
if there's a pea under your bed, then you're a princess. And then if that's the case, then you've got a little crown. Everything's sitting pretty peachy for you.
Tiara.
Tiara.
Yes.
Use the
Yes.
correct princess terminology. Of course, you know.
Get
all
your
the-
facts right, baby.
if Sim knows anything, it's his princesses. But let's move on from that one. Cole Palmer. Another slightly disappointing one, wasn't it?
I'm sorry, but why are you going to sell Cole Palmer? He had Man City first game. Like,
That's it, innit?
Like, of course he was going to struggle. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, I mean, let's talk about Cole Palmer and Nkunku as a pair, because Nkunku isn't being sold as much as Palmer, but he is a player people are talking about as a player to sell at this point. Obviously, Palmer 2 points, Nkunku 1 point. Slightly different scenarios between the two. But like you kind of touched upon there, if you purchased a Chelsea player for your fantasy team, it wasn't for game week 1. You know, you bought them because you hoped that you could perhaps ride out game week 1, and then after that, things would start to look a lot better. And if you're not even giving yourself the opportunity for things to get better, it's a bit premature to sell these guys, right?
Yeah. My problems with Nkunku are very layered.
Okay.
The first problem is he started off left wing
Yes.
and was replaced by a Pedro Neto that looked exciting,
Mm-hmm.
as Pedro Neto does.
He is. Yeah.
That's just
exciting
kind
guy.
of his vibe.
Yeah.
Just an exciting guy.
He's very much a you pick.
Yeah. Yeah. He's in my draft team, in fact.
Oh, wow.
Which is concerning. And it's even more concerning because Nkunku wasn't offering with, Pedro did offer with. On the other side, you've got someone like a what's his name again? Palmer or Madueke or any of the army of other players that they've got who prefer to come in on the inside. So you can't have Nkunku and do the same thing because there's no width anymore.
Okay.
So there's a tactical problem there, number one. Number two is they've just signed João Felix.
Mm-hmm.
Again, another issue there. Who else is competing for the position? So for that 10 role, assuming that Nkunku now has to play there instead, you got Felix, you got Nkunku, you got Enzo, who absolutely sucked there, by the way. But he was there. You've got Cole Palmer, who could play there. Like, it's a very difficult place to be. And then obviously he could also just play number 9. It's not like Jackson paints himself with glory ever. So there's a lot of uncertainty around there. And personally, again, this is another one where for Nkunku, I'd be perfectly fine losing it straight away.
Really?
Yeah. Palmer, different question in my opinion. Palmer obviously is going to play. He came off just because he's probably a bit knackered. But Palmer is still Palmer. I think I'd give more chance to Palmer than I would to Nkunku.
Well, certainly with minutes, you know Palmer is going to be more secure throughout the season. I think, but that's why he costs 4 million more. When I look at Nkunku and I see how he was fitting into the Chelsea team pre-season, he was never a left winger, and I don't think the plan is to ever leave him as a left wing. I think that's definitely in part a tactical setup by Maresca against Man City to kind of play an Enzo in midfield who has a bit more defensive capabilities, but you want to still keep Nkunku on the pitch as one of the better players that Chelsea have. I think if we go through into game week 2, where Chelsea have a much more favourable fixture against Wolves, we'll either see Nkunku play in the 10, as we kind of mentioned, or play in the 9 as well. And I think for me, I'm more willing to give Nkunku more of a chance because I still believe he could play in the 9, even if it's not every game. If you get every other game, every third game of a 6.5 million midfielder in FPL, in an attacking team playing in the 9, you could get some really nice hauls there, even if it's not super consistent. He's a 6.5. You've got to manage your expectations a little bit.
Yeah.
It was a disappointing game week 1 for him. There's no doubt about that.
It was. I'd agree with you if there wasn't so many layers to the concern that I had.
Yeah, but I think that works both ways though, right? Because if there's lots of ways it could you perceive it could go wrong, then there's also lots of ways it could go right. Like, Nkunku, he's minutes risk on the left. He's minutes risk in a attacking midfield. He's minutes risk as a 9. Well, you're also saying that he can play in all of those positions. So it kind of works both ways, right?
I get you. I guess there's a lot of scenarios wherein he does play. I'd just be too worried. Like at this point in the season, I would not want to get myself stuck in that. Is what I'm saying, basically.
I'm not advocating for bringing Nkunku in.
Yeah.
I completely get that.
Yeah.
And I think if you are worried about uncertainty, then Nkunku is probably not the player for you. And maybe you should sell him. I'm willing to give him a chance, man. It's Man City.
You're a lot more forgiving than I am.
I am. I'm forgiving.
My player
Watkins.
comes off 58 minutes. I might transfer you before you actually come off the pitch.
Wow. You see him like the sub warming up for him. Like, right, no, I'm not even 100% sure that you're coming off the pitch yet. Get off.
But the typing his number on the board, he's already gone.
The transfer is put in. See you later, Nkunku. Oh, amazing stuff. All right, there's a whole bunch of other players in here, like Gordon, Eza. You don't sell those. I'm not even going to ask your opinion on them, because if you say they are worth selling, then you're wrong. Darwin, probably get rid.
Didn't come on.
No, not a single minute, which means he's probably not. He's not going to start next game, is he? We'll get maybe some minutes, but he's probably on for another benching. Foden, okay to keep. Ipswich.
If you had him, you knew what was going on anyway, right?
Yeah, so, not everyone.
Well, okay.
Those in the know.
You don't have to be in the know. I feel like
you just have to watch Stick to FPL podcast and you'll know.
You will be in the know.
You will be, yeah.
Exactly. But obviously, very encouraging that he came on at halftime.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I thought he would be coming on at like 80 minutes or something. So for him to get a whole half, I think it's very promising.
Agreed. Definitely wouldn't be selling.
Yeah, okay. Keep him for Ipswich. Anderson...
I mean, the others look
him.
Why would you sell Anderson or
Isak? Yeah, don't say. Okay, right. We've got Mikalenko on there, but we kind of touched on Everton anyway.
You skipped.
But yeah, I am skipping them, but we're coming back to him.
Okay.
Because there's 2 players who I think are worth talking about in at least a little bit of detail, and that is Quanza and Barco. So let's do Barco first, because I think that's a simpler answer. So he's a 4 million defender. He didn't get any minutes for Brighton against Everton. A lot of people disappointed by that, as a lot of people, myself included, we expected him to start. So a bit gutting that he didn't. But
he's going to start leaking value.
He is. He's going to drop to 3.9 million.
Yeah,
he is.
And who's the guy who started Helm Schmlut?
You're spot on with the pronunciation.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, nice.
I've got a gift for these things.
Yeah, I can tell. I can tell. But like, I don't think he's worth a transfer. He's a 4 million defender.
Did you start with him?
No, I got rid of him before.
Yeah,
because I started getting some cold feet there as well.
Yeah,
I got a little bit worried, so I ended up removing him from my team. You did the same, you say?
I got rid as well.
Yeah. Oh, God, we're class, aren't we? We're class. But no, if you own him, 4 million defender, you surely weren't planning on starting him every game week anyway. Leave him on the bench.
This is I got the same problem with this that I do with Quanza. It's such an annoying player to have.
But Barco is not annoying because he doesn't cost you anything.
He does. He makes you lose value.
Potentially 0.1 million.
He is 23.6% on.
Yeah, he's going to drop to 10%
owned. Already lost
in 2 weeks.
That's like 0.2, 0.3 million loss.
Yeah, he's going to lose a lot of. Yeah. He's going to lose a lot of ownership.
You can't justify transferring him.
No, you can't. And anyone you bring in is just going to sit on your bench anyway. You haven't improved your team by
exactly. So you just got to live with it. It's another one of those you made your bed, but It's a very annoying bed to be in.
Yeah, that one I totally
There's
sympathise
not a
with
pea
people
under
for.
your bed. There's a big ass brick.
Yeah, because it is. You must feel so hard done by. He looked brilliant preseason. Everyone in the know, Brighton fans, like pundits, experts, everyone thought he was going to start. Everyone. So really surprising one there. Unfortunate, and I feel for you guys.
Yeah.
Who went for him?
Interestingly enough, if you do want to sell him, there's a 4.0 Wolves defender.
Mascara.
Is that what it's called? Okay.
Yeah, Mascara.
I thought his name was Mosquito.
Yeah, okay. We could call him Mosquito. Yeah, sucking the blood out of your team values. Well, we got Mosquito Barco sucking the blood out of your team value, and we've got Mascara, who is
taking the blood.
Yeah, it's kind of like mascara. He brightens your eyes up.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah,
excellent.
There we go.
Well, yeah, no. So if you do want to move, I think that's somewhere you can go, and obviously you can go to a 4.5 as well.
Potentially.
But yeah, personally wouldn't do it.
But let's talk about Quanza, because I think a lot of people are concerned about Quanza. And we've pulled up for you guys a few potential Quanza replacements. But first of all, just to give you the lowdown of what happened with Gerald Quanza in Game Week 1.
Tell us.
So everyone expected him to start. We all knew he was going to start. He fits Arne Slot's system, a little bit of a better passer, better, more comfortable on the ball than a Konate. So he fits the system a little bit better. So he starts the game. He gets hooked at half-time because he was losing all of his aerial duels.
Did that actually happen, though?
He did lose a few aerial duels, yeah. And Arne Slot just said, okay, well, if this isn't working, let's change something up. And that is somewhat of a concern for Game Week 2. Is Quanza going to get another chance at some point this season? Of course he is. Is that going to happen in Game Week 2? Can you rely upon him in Game Week 2? If you've got a Barco on the bench as well, you can't even just bench Quanza this week whilst you try and gather more information. And you might have to be a bit more proactive with your transfers, which sucks.
Imagine being sat there with two 4.0s. You got Harwood, Bellis, and Barco, and Quanza.
Yeah, it's not ideal.
It's a sticky situation
but
still.
Yeah, but this is what our transfers are for in FPL. That's why we have transfers.
Well, good thing Fantasy Football Hub gives us all the predicted points.
Yes, indeed. So I pulled up for us today a list of players and their predicted points via Fantasy Football Hub. So I really like this tool. This is the predictive points tool on the Fantasy Football Hub app and website. And what it does for you is you can put in your own criteria. I want them to be between this value and this value in this position. And I want to look at how good this player will be within this subset of game weeks. And for today's example, we've gone 4.5 million defenders. And I want to see the best ones between Game Week 2 and Game Week 5. Because I'm thinking of wild carding in Game Week 6. So I just need someone from 2 to 5 who is going to be the big dog. And by the way, we touched on this earlier. The algorithms and the AI know what they're talking about. They smashed it in Game Week 1.
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately for the less stats-based managers, I suppose.
Listen, let me tell you something. Before we go into this, my girlfriend spent about a whole minute and a half doing her team.
Yeah.
Is about 10 points ahead of me.
Yeah.
Still has. No, she's about 10 points ahead of me, and that's it. And
she sounds like a Fantasy Football Hub member to me.
Maybe she secretly got a membership, you know what I mean? But I don't know what's going on. But that team is looking a little bit crazy. Literally minute and a half. She's got Saliba in there. She got Barco in there. She benched Nkunku.
Smart.
Brains.
Smart.
Brains. She captained Haaland, which is fair enough.
Yeah, fair.
But yeah, so listen, just don't. Stats has its place, and sometimes guesswork has its place too.
Whatever. Anyway, Matty Cash has the highest predicted points of the 4.5 million defenders during this period.
Not having that. I'm sorry.
No?
Not having that.
That surprised me as well.
Villa, shocking.
I'm not going to lie, that surprised me because Villa are a little bit shocking defensively. But I think people will be looking at their defenders over this period of games.
It's because that game. It's because of that Game Week 4 and 5 fixture. That's why I look at that 4.5, 4.6 for those two fixtures.
Yeah. So in Game Week 4, Aston Villa play against Everton at home.
Yeah.
And in game week 5, they face Wolves at home.
Yeah, so they've got the
So 2 nice home games.
They've got the 2 best fixtures out of the 4.5s.
Yeah, so I say that. We've got the likes of, we'll go through them. Sugawara, I was super interested to see him in there, by the way. He only got 1 point. He was hooked at half time. Was it half time? He got hooked early last game. Apparently, purely tactical, no issues there. He apparently, like the manager praised him, said he would play really well, but we needed to get another attacker on. So he just happened to be the guy who was taken off. But he looks like a player, to be fair. It's a shame he plays for Southampton, really, who I don't know if we're super confident in their defence yet. I don't think they were that bad against Newcastle. I know they had the red card, Newcastle, but
I didn't get to watch that.
not too bad. Lewis Dunk there.
That's interesting. Look, let's look at the actual interesting ones here.
Okay.
There's only 2 or 3 that are actually worth the.
All right, fine.
So there's Dunk, interesting. Robinson, extremely interesting.
Yep.
And then Anderson, possibly.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Quanza and Cash come in the same boat, and Dan Burn and Lewis Hall. Is that his first name?
Lewis Hall.
Obviously not on this list, but Lewis Hall is also at a 4.5.
Yeah.
He could be considered alongside Dan Burn. So basically, Newcastle, Villa, Robinson, and Dunk.
Yeah.
I think that's your options at the moment.
I agree.
Or Rico Lewis.
Or Rico, yeah. I mean, I think the thing about going for someone like Rico Lewis is you're turning a bad situation into a good situation. And I love to do that with my transfers. If I'm stuck with a player who I'm not happy with, if I can turn that into an advantage, like no one owns Rico Lewis. We needed game week 1, really, to know if Rico Lewis was worth going for.
Yeah.
Now, you've got that information. You have a transfer that you're willing to do. Like me, I don't have any defenders I'm willing to sell. So there's no way I can get Rico Lewis in my team. If you've got Quanza, you have an opportunity here to do something that, perhaps you would prefer to have points in game week 1, but from game week 2, you now got an advantage. You can do something.
Yeah.
So I like that one.
Who'd you pick of the bunch?
Of these that we just spoke about, the main bunch, I would probably say Anthony Robinson, given that his next 2 fixtures are pretty sweet. Leicester at home, and then it's Ipswich away.
Yeah, I think
very nice.
I think I'd be agreed with you.
Okay. So
Anthony
West
Robinson.
Ham after that as well.
Yeah.
So Anthony Robinson, Quanza replacement.
Yeah, I think he's arguably the best of the bunch.
Okay. Cool. Right. Quick discussion here. Triple captain Haaland.
Yeah, boy. And listen, I told you this before it was cool.
Yeah, you did.
Now it's cool.
Yeah.
Now everyone's like, oh my God, is this an actual opportunity? Can we do this?
You called this one.
Listen, game week 1, game week 2, Salah and Haaland, both triple captain options. Salah, if you went for that from game week 1, 24, 36 points off that. Oh, no, how many? He got 14 or 12? He got 14.
14 for
Yeah, so that's
Salah.
what? 24, 28, 30, 42? My math is not wrong. 42 points on the
I
triple
don't know why
captain.
you're looking at me, mate. My maths is shocking.
14 times 2 is 28,
Yeah.
times 3 is 42. That is correct.
Yeah.
Okay. So 42 points off the triple captain. You'd be very happy with it. That doesn't sound right. That feels wrong. 48, 12 plus 30. No, it is 42. Okay. So you'd be very happy with that.
Yeah.
And Haaland against Ipswich at home, that Chelsea game was like a big sort of deciding factor for me.
Okay.
If I was concerned, which I was thinking I was going to be concerned about what I saw, I wouldn't go for it. But at
Because
the
you
moment-
like Man City game week 1, right? You're
Yeah.
impressed.
Yeah, very impressed. And my chip's active.
Your chip's active.
My chip's active. If the deadline is right now, I would have the triple captain active on Erling Haaland.
No way. Okay. Well, we're gonna have a look at your team in a minute and what potential transfers and moves you might make. But wow, you think you're gonna go for it based on right now's information?
Right now's information, he will be my triple captain for game week 2.
Ooh, I like that. That is exciting. All right, I did a little bit of research on this one before we came in, because I'm going to go back to predicted points again. So I looked at the predicted points for players from now's information, the predicted points as we stand throughout the entire season. Haaland against Ipswich at home in game week 2 is the highest predicted points any player in any game week has been given for this season at this moment. Now, predicted points do adjust and change over the season as we get more information, but based on right now's information, there is no better single game week opportunity for a triple captain than Haaland Game Week 2 against Ipswich.
He's playing a League One team.
That is a violation.
What is not? That is a League One squad. That squad 12 months ago were playing 15 months ago were playing in League One.
This is harsh, man.
This is but this is I
They're a
appreciate
good
that it's harsh.
team.
I'm not saying they're bad. I'm saying those players 15 months ago were in League One. That's a factual thing.
Okay.
Like I appreciate it, but they got absolutely made a joke of by Liverpool in the second half.
I thought the first half they were pretty good though.
They were playing man to man. Yeah, they do that nonsense against Man City. They're gonna get absolutely ruined. And
yeah, to play away from home as well.
We just know he's a machine at home.
Yeah, I think certainly Ipswich in the first game, because it was like they're at home, their first time in the Premier League in 22 years. I think that's about right. Do it 22 years because they got relegated in 2002. Yeah, they were G'd up for it. They were ready to go. They knew what they're doing, and then it maybe falls apart a little bit when you go away from home. You know, reality checks in a little bit there.
I mean, I don't see why they would play in a similar way as they did in Game Week 1. In Game Week 2, like, it just seems like a recipe for disaster. But I just think even if the best Ipswich turn up, it's very hard to stop Haaland at home.
Yeah, it's hard for anyone anywhere to stop Haaland at home, other than like Saliba and Gabriel.
Yeah,
just pop him in his pocket for 90 minutes and move on to the next game. I like it, and particularly as there's not going to be very many double game weeks this season, and say we get 2 double game weeks this season, or 2 decent sized double game weeks, thinking probably bench boost for one of them. The other one might be mystery chip territory, whatever that is. We still don't know. And that means that we don't have any double game weeks left to use our triple captain. So should you just use it in a single game week?
Well, this is the thing. Sometimes an opportunity presents itself, and if you don't take it, you're gonna regret it. So I was tired of waiting for these double game weeks for the chips last season.
Yeah,
I think this season, this is just, I don't know. It feels like, why would you not?
Yeah, I get it. I certainly get it. Right, we've not got long left, Sim, so let's have a look at our teams. First of all, let's do yours, because we've just been speaking about your triple captain, and I want to hear more about it. So this is your team, Sim, for Game Week 2. Do you want to read it through with the players and maybe some of their oppositions?
Yep. So I've got in goal David Raya, Villa. In goal, I've got David Raya away to Villa, then Gvardiol, Ipswich at home, Daniel Munoz, West Ham at home, Lewis Hall, Bournemouth away, then in midfield, I've got Bukayo Saka, Villa away, Diogo Jota, Brentford at home, Anthony Gordon, Bournemouth away, Emile Smith-Rowe, Leicester at home. Excited for that one. And then up front, we've got the main man with the triple captain, not active in this screenshot, but active in the real draft, with Ipswich at home, Alexander Isak, that is correct.
Yeah.
Bournemouth away, and Edwin Solanke. We're going to go for that because I don't know what his first name is.
I've got a great fact for you, actually. Sorry to do like a
Dominic.
little bit something.
Dominic. His first name is Dominic.
Yeah, but did you know that his surname is not Solanke, it's Solanke Mitchell?
Oh, that's disgusting.
His name's Dominic Solanke Mitchell. So from now on...
Good decision, Dom.
Yeah, to drop the Mitchell.
Yeah.
So I think we should, you know how we call Dominic Calvert-Lewin DCL?
Yeah.
I think we called, and Trent Alexander-Arnold TAA.
Yeah.
Dominic Solanke Mitchell DSM.
DSM.
That's, call him DSM and it seems cooler. I like DSM for a nickname for him.
DSM, Everton at home.
Yeah.
Another arguable captain option, by the way. But we'll leave that there. On the bench, I've got Lumley at home to Nottingham Forest. Obviously not playing. Rodgers at home to Arsenal. Soon to make the 11, I think, once we get this next fixture out the way.
Mm-hmm.
Quanza currently at home to Brentford. And finally, Ben Johnson away to Man City.
So this... the way I've done this screenshot, and the way you've just described it, this is how you're going to set up, presumably with Rodgers, Quanza, and Johnson on the bench.
Indeed.
So you're not going to play Quanza this week?
I haven't decided on whether I'm going to make a transfer there or not.
Okay.
But
even if I was to make a transfer, like, why would I start them?
Yeah.
I'm pretty happy with
because
my lineup.
Hall is good to go. I think Hall is the only player you'd maybe consider benching.
Yeah.
So, and
So
it's not too bad away against Bournemouth.
I think I'm just going to firm the price drop, take my transfer, and be on with it.
Yeah. I think, I kind of agree with you because Hall is obviously playing against Bournemouth. They don't have DSM anymore. So I'm rolling with it. So, you might get a clean sheet out of that one. I think your team is in no need of major surgery, which is, I think, a sign of a well set up Game Week 1 team.
Yeah, you'd be concerned if your team did need major surgery at this point, though, right?
You would. But some people are going to need it. And, if you need it, you need it. But because you had that backup 4.5 you had Hall as well as Quanza. Actually, who did you start Game Week 1? Did you start Hall?
I started. I benched Guardiola.
You benched Guardiola?
And you know what? I still think I was justified in my decision.
You know what?
I genuinely believe I was justified.
Hall
kept a clean sheet. Munoz got an attack in return, and Quanza should have kept a clean sheet. Like,
yeah, okay.
And
You've been hard done by that.
Look, maybe it was a little bit silly. It is Guardiola, it is Man City, but regardless, I felt justified in my decision. My team's still got pretty good points. So.
Yeah, you know what?
We'll move on.
It's not a bad decision given the circumstances. Away against Chelsea, I totally get it.
Yeah,
I totally get it. So so you think you're probably going to go in with this, but with Haaland triple captain?
That's what it's looking like at the moment. Got to hold my nerve until Saturday.
Looks pretty good. Yeah, I like it. Rodgers, by the way, let's do a quick note on him because I've got him in my team as well. Played 90 minutes, Game Week 1.
That's a bad boy.
Yeah,
that's a bad boy.
That's a good boy, I would say. but he was a player. I think we kind of thought, okay, he has the potential to be good. Is he going to get enough minutes? Let's take that risk and find out. We found out. 90 minutes in Game Week 1 is nuts.
For now, it's looking very good.
Yeah,
I hope
he gets, as well.
I genuinely hope he scores against Arsenal.
Ugh. Well, I mean, as an Arsenal fan, I would rather that didn't happen.
I mean, look, let's take our biases out of here.
Yeah, okay. Well, we'll stick to FPL.
We'll stick to FPL. And
we said the name.
From my unbiased perspective, I would like if Rodgers scored so that he doesn't lose minutes in Game Week 3.
You know what? I'm feeling that. Okay, here's a question. Because a lot of people psychologically hate it when one of their bench players scores because they think, why didn't I not just start that player? But I kind of like it because it's like, when a player scores, you want to bring them into your fantasy team. You want to transfer them in. But if you already have them on your bench, you didn't get their points, but you have already got the player and you can play them the following game week. And other people need to make that transfer.
Yeah.
So I think it's a good thing.
It's only brutal when it's a huge score or if you're on a 50-50.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
Yeah,
that's fair.
Every other decision I can that's why I don't feel hard done by it. Like Guardiola kept a clean sheet. Like I was relatively sure. I even asked a bunch of people. Everyone told me to start him.
Yeah,
I disagreed with everyone, and I felt justified in my decision. So I don't hate it. But again, Rodgers, if he could score a double hat trick, I was never gonna play him for this game week.
Fair enough. Yeah. A 5 million midfielder. He's made for the bench mostly.
Playing Arsenal at home. Yeah.
Against Arsenal, definitely he's made for the bench. And he's also on my bench.
Ooh, let's see your team.
So here's my team. So I've got Henderson at home against West Ham, as is Daniel Munoz. So the double up in the Crystal Palace team remains true for another game week. We've got Gvardiol against Ipswich and Trent against Brentford. So that's going to be pretty nice. 2 home games there. Eza, my third Crystal Palace player. We've got Saka, Jota, and Nkunku away against Wolves. Haaland, of course, and Isaac Muniz.
Am I boring you?
No, did I yawn?
You yawning
I'm just running through the players very, very quickly.
Maybe your old team's boring you.
You know what? I'm worried of boring other people because we have so many of the same players. I'm going through basically the same team all over again. Now, there's obviously some differences. And then on my bench, Vladimir Sin, Harwood Bellis is going to stay on my bench. But I don't mind playing Harwood Bellis. If you have Harwood Bellis, and you're worried about a Quanza or a Barker or whatever, I don't think there's any problem. Rather than spending a transfer, play Harwood Bellis, home against Forest. And then we've got Rodgers and Johnson there on the bench as well, so similar. My team has a lot of home fixtures in Game Week 2. I was really worried in Game Week 1 because I thought my team is not perfectly set up for Game Week 1. So it was, particularly without Salah, I felt like I was in survival mode a little bit Game Week 1. And I think I have survived. Game Week 2 is where I think my season comes alive. This is where I feel confident. I think my team looks very strong.
AI loves your team.
Yeah, AI loves my team. So I've got 96% game week rating. That's not a team rating, that's a game week rating, which is usually a bit lower. There's 71.4 predicted points, which again is pretty high. Already got that double Man City ready to go, similar to you. Like, I feel sorry for people without Man City players this week. I really do.
Could get silly.
Yeah, it could get silly. And we've seen it before with not just Haaland, but Gvardiol getting crazy scores in those favourable fixtures that can be really quite damaging if you don't own them.
Yeah.
Not saying that's going to happen, but I mean, if you own these players, you hope it will.
But remember, it's not just a one game week game.
No.
Don't start FOMOing -8 to get Haaland in.
No.
Would you take a -8 now to get Haaland in if you didn't have him?
No, I wouldn't.
There we go.
No.
There we go.
Like, if you've gone Salah over Haaland, you've already won Game Week 1. You know, it's going to be a balancing. It's very difficult to judge after Game Week 1 because I think Game Week 1 and 2 come as a pair if you're only picking one or the other.
Yeah, and there's nothing to say Haaland's going to absolutely smash it. Like he could just blank. He could get 1 goal, like 6 points. Like you never know. You never know.
I mean, even if he gets like a goal and an assist, that's still going to be less points than Salah because of the clean sheet points and the extra point for midfielders' goals and stuff. So you could survive quite easily with the Salah points. Just remember, you used to have the Salah points as well. But no, I'm not making any changes. I'm again excited for this game week. You've got Smith Rowe against Leicester. I've got Muniz against Leicester. I think West Ham, I thought, were a little bit leaky game week 1. So we're fairly decent in attack. So I am a little bit worried for Henderson game week 2.
Eze didn't have that many goal scoring opportunities aside from
He took a lot of shots.
Yeah.
Most shots of any player
But
in
he
game
didn't
1.
have many goal scoring opportunities.
I mean, I would say that a shot is probably considered a goal scoring opportunity. You do well to score having not
Oh,
shot.
go on then. What was his XG?
It wasn't super high, but
There we go.
but I will.
The data
tell
backs
you-
me.
I didn't say it was super low either. So Eberechi Eze's XG was 0.44.
That's pretty decent.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
How many shots did he take?
7 shots.
Okay, that's why it's 0.44 then.
Yes, because remember, by the way,
It's a volume game.
this season you get more bonus points for taking a lot of shots on target. So in many ways, it can be a volume game, and that doesn't include his goal shot that was disallowed. So actually, if you include that one, which should have been a shot and should have been a goal, 8 shots.
Yeah.
It's not bad. Come on,
I think Eze is gonna continue to underwhelm.
you've got an agenda.
I don't have an agenda.
If you had him in your team, you wouldn't be saying any of these things.
Well, that's why I don't have him in my team.
That's fair enough. Yeah,
You know.
it self-fulfills, doesn't it? Yeah, I get that. But no, I think my team is looking good for this week. And I'm excited to see what
for this week. It's Raya against Henderson, Trent against Hall,
Yeah,
Eze against Gordon,
Yeah.
Kunku against ESR, and
Yeah.
Solanke against Muniz.
yeah.
Essentially,
I think it is close.
and obviously my triple captain versus all of that.
Oh yeah, I mean, you're going to score more points than me if you're triple captain, right?
Yeah.
You'd hope.
You would hope, yeah.
But no, what would you do with this team? Would you change this team? Do you think I need any desperate surgery, or is it just a case of rolling it?
No, I mean, I would be tempted to lose in Kunku, but other than that, I wouldn't.
Where would you go?
I like Garnacho.
Yeah,
Yeah, I like Garnacho. There's a few players I like. Obviously, Minter went off for a concussion.
yeah. I think he's going to be good. By the way,
Is he?
yeah, I think he'll the next game falls just within just outside of the concussion protocol.
Didn't
thing.
they change the window now?
Yeah, he's fine.
He's fine.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I verified this earlier.
Okay, so Minter's interesting. Obviously, Mitoma is obviously interesting. Same price. No, Mitoma's 7.5.
6.5 Mitoma and Minter is 5.5.
Okay, so Mitoma, I like Garnacho. I really like Garnacho actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have started with Garnacho
Away
if
against
he was gonna
Brighton?
start. Yeah,
Okay.
kind of game that Garnacho does well in.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you're in for another blank with Nkunku if he even starts. But
I
that's
hope you're
just
wrong.
my 2 cents.
We'll see. I think Nkunku definitely has the potential to be my first transfer out of the season, but it's not going to happen this week.
Yeah, no, I don't begrudge you. I think that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, guys, if anyone watching has any comments about either mine or Sim's team, then love to hear some of your ideas and your moves that you are making within your teams. Of course, if you have any questions and stuff, let us know in the comments. You can answer some of them.
I do. I've been in the comments.
Have you?
I've been in the comments replying to people.
Oh, nice,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, guys, we are going to wrap today's show up. But yeah, thank you so much for supporting the show once again. Make sure you are dropping likes, follows, subscribes, 5-star reviews. More of them, please. We like those 5-star reviews. They're very good. And what else should people do? I mean, the dead air is not great.
The what?
The dead air is not great for audio listeners.
Aha, that's true.
Yeah.
But don't worry, we have experts out in post-production that can fix that. I'm out of ideas, Dan.
Yeah.
I've got no words.
What about people follow us on TikTok, maybe?
People should follow us on TikTok.
More people follow us on TikTok than any other social platform by quite some distance.
I wonder why.
Ugh, it's you, isn't it? It's the sim effect. It's the sim effect. None of my YouTube followers are coming over to this podcast. They don't care.
200,000 subscribers.
Yeah, on YouTube, and none of them coming over to the YouTube channel.
And you can't get us to... Actually, we did get to 2K now.
Yeah. So we've got 1% of my YouTube followers to come over. Yes, let's go. Oh.
No, but listen, make sure you check out. If you're watching on video and you can't watch it on video for some reason next time, we're always on the audio.
Yeah,
if you're watching on the audio, you want to see our beautiful faces, we're on the video.
Yep.
So check us out on every platform.
Spotify, Apple Podcasts. I think we've waffled enough. Thank you guys for watching another episode of Stick to FPL. Love you guys. See you later. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.